Imagine a world where shadows hide secrets, where whispers from the past refuse to be silenced, and where the impossible lingers just beyond the edge of understanding. Throughout history, countless events have baffled experts, terrified communities, and sparked endless debate. Mysteries so strange, so chilling, that they defy explanation. Today, we dive into 10 of history's most haunting unsolved mysteries, each one a puzzle piece in a larger picture of human curiosity, fear, and the unknown. So sit tight, and you will have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. 1. The Circleville Letters, 1977. The town that couldn't sleep. It began with a letter, crude, chilling, and anonymous. In the summer of 1977, the small, sleepy town of Circleville, Ohio, was jolted awake by a threat that would haunt its residents for decades. Mary Celeste, a school bus driver, opened her mailbox to find a note scrawled in jagged handwriting. The writer claimed to know her darkest secret, an affair with the local school superintendent. The letter warned her to end it, or else. But Mary wasn't the only target. Weeks later, her husband Ron received his own letter, urging him to kill both his wife and her alleged lover. The tension in the Gillespie home was palpable, the sense of being watched unbearable. Then, one night, Ron stormed out, gun in hand, telling his children he was going to confront the mysterious writer. He never returned. His truck was found crashed, Ron dead inside. The sheriff ruled it an accident, but the town whispered about foul play. The letters didn't stop. They multiplied, reaching dozens of Circleville residents. Each one contained personal information, details only a close friend or neighbor could know. Some accused others of crimes, some threatened violence. The police launched a full-scale investigation, but every lead fizzled. Handwriting experts were stumped. Surveillance failed. Even when a suspect, Paul Freshour, was arrested and imprisoned, the letters kept coming, some even postmarked from places he couldn't access. Eyewitnesses described the terror, checking over their shoulders, jumping at every creak, dreading the daily walk to the mailbox. Some families moved away. Others installed security cameras, locked their doors, and trusted no one. The Circleville letter writer had turned neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend. Decades later, the identity of the letter writer remains a mystery. Was it a single person or a group? How did they know so much? And why, after all these years, did the letters finally stop? The town of Circleville still shudders at the memory, haunted by the knowledge that someone among them once held all their secrets and might still be watching. 2. The Lead Masks Case, 1966. Death on Vinton Hill. On a sweltering August afternoon in 1966, a young boy flying a kite stumbled upon a sight so bizarre it would baffle Brazil and the world for decades. Two men lay side by side on a remote hill outside Rio de Janeiro, dressed in formal suits, waterproof raincoats, and, most chillingly, homemade lead masks covering their eyes. No sign of violence. No obvious cause of death. Just two lifeless bodies, staring up at the sky through shields meant to block out something unseen. The men were quickly identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viano, local electronics technicians. Their families recalled them leaving days earlier, saying only that they were on urgent business. But no one expected this. Investigators found strange items near the bodies: an empty water bottle, two wet towels, and a cryptic notebook. The note inside read, 1630B at the specified location. 1830 ingest capsules. After the effect protect metals await signal mask. What did it mean? What signal were they waiting for? Autopsies were delayed due to a bureaucratic backlog. By the time the coroner examined the bodies, internal organs had decomposed, making it impossible to determine if the men had been poisoned or drugged. No capsules were found. No trace of violence. No clues. Locals whispered about UFOs. Some claimed to see strange lights in the sky that night. Others believed the men were part of a secretive spiritualist cult, attempting to contact beings from another world. The lead masks, some theorized, were meant to shield their eyes from blinding visions. Yet every scientific avenue hit a dead end. The police could not explain the purpose of the masks, the meaning of the note, or the cause of death. The case grew colder with each passing year, leaving only speculation and fear. To this day, the lead mask's case remains unsolved. Were Manuel and Miguel victims of a deadly experiment, or did they stumble upon something not meant for human eyes? The hill where they died is still avoided by locals, who believe that whatever happened there was not of this world and could happen again. 3. The Green Children of Woolpit, 1100s visitors from the Twilight Land. Imagine a quiet English village in the 12th century, where life was predictable, until two children with green skin emerged from the woods, speaking a language no one understood. The villagers of Woolpit, Suffolk, recoiled in shock as the siblings, one boy, one girl, stared back with wide, frightened eyes. Eyewitnesses described the pair as otherworldly. Their skin was a vibrant green, their clothes strange and unfamiliar. They refused all food except raw broad beans. The villagers tried to care for them, but the boys soon fell ill and died. The girl, however, slowly adapted, her skin fading to a normal hue as she learned English and began to eat regular food. When she could finally communicate, her story only deepened the mystery. She claimed they came from St. Martin's Land, a place of perpetual twilight where everything was green. She said she and her brother had been tending their father's cattle when they heard a loud noise and suddenly found themselves in Woolpit, blinded by the sun and unable to find their way home. Medieval chroniclers recorded the event, but offered no explanation. Was it a folktale, a case of malnutrition, or something more? Centuries later, scientists have speculated about chlorosis, a condition that can turn the skin green. Others suggest the children were Flemish orphans, refugees from war, whose language and appearance were simply misunderstood. But none of these theories fully explain the details. The sudden appearance, the strange language, the insistence on an underground world of twilight. The villagers who witnessed the event were left with a sense of unease, unsure if they had harbored lost children or visitors from another realm. The story of the Green Children endures, a legend that refuses to fade. Was it a medieval misunderstanding or a glimpse into a parallel world? The woods around Woolpit remain silent, but the question lingers: what if the Green Children came back? 4. The Mary Celeste, 1872 ghost ship of the Atlantic. On a cold December day in 1872, a ship was found adrift in the vast Atlantic Ocean, hundreds of miles west of Portugal's Azores Islands. The Mary Celeste, a Canadian-built brigantine, was discovered by the crew of another vessel, the Dei Grazia. What they saw would haunt maritime history forever. The Mary Celeste was completely intact, its sails partially unfurled, its cargo untouched, but eerily, no one was aboard. The ship had left New York a month earlier, bound for Genoa, Italy, carrying a valuable cargo of industrial alcohol. Everything was in order, food supplies were plentiful, personal belongings were undisturbed, and the ship was seaworthy. Yet, the entire crew and passengers had vanished without a trace. The lifeboat was missing, but there was no sign of a struggle, storm damage, or piracy. What had happened to the men who sailed her? Eyewitnesses who boarded the Mary Celeste described an unsettling silence, a ghostly calm. The ship's logbook's last entry was dated 10 days before the discovery, with no indication of distress. The captain's belongings were left behind, and the ship's galley was prepared for a meal. It was as if the crew had simply disappeared into thin air. Scientific and maritime investigations tried to unravel the mystery. Some speculated about sudden waterspouts, alcohol fumes causing explosions, or even mutiny. Others suggested insurance fraud or supernatural intervention. Yet, none of these theories fully explain the absence of any bodies or wreckage. No debris washed ashore, and no survivors ever came forward. The Mary Celeste became a symbol of the unexplained, a maritime enigma that defied logic. Was it a catastrophic event that forced the crew to abandon ship in panic? Or did something more sinister lurk beneath the waves? The truth remains elusive. Even today, Mary Celeste's fate invites endless speculation. Its ghostly voyage continues to inspire stories of mystery and dread, a chilling reminder of the ocean's vast, unknowable depths. The unanswered questions surrounding the ship and its vanished crew ensure that the Mary Celeste will forever sail the seas of unsolved history. 5. The Flann Isles Lighthouse Mystery, 1900 vanished into the storm. In December 1900, a routine check on a remote lighthouse in the Flann Isles, off the coast of Scotland turned into one of the most baffling disappearances in maritime history. The lighthouse keepers, James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, were expected to be tending to the light, a crucial beacon for passing ships. But when a relief vessel finally reached the island after a storm delay, the men were nowhere to be found. The scene that greeted the searchers was chilling. The lighthouse's entrance gate was closed, beds inside were unmade, and the clock in the restroom had stopped ticking. Lamps, freshly cleaned and refilled, sat unused. It was as if the men had simply vanished into thin air, leaving their duties unfinished and their lives behind. Locals and investigators were perplexed. The weather had been fierce, but no wreckage or bodies washed ashore. The men's disappearance defied explanation. Had a rogue wave swept them into the sea? Did they leave voluntarily, fleeing some unknown terror? Or was something more sinister at play? Eyewitness accounts from nearby fishermen spoke of violent storms and strange lights on the island in the days leading up to the discovery. Some speculated that the men had been caught in a freak accident while trying to secure equipment during a tempest. Others whispered of supernatural forces haunting the desolate isle. Scientific investigation yielded little. The harsh environment and delay in reaching the island meant clues had vanished with the wind and waves. No definitive evidence explained the sudden disappearance of 3 experienced men who had faithfully kept the light burning. 6. Pamsky Crater, 1949. The Siberian Egg. In 1949, deep in the remote wilderness of southeastern Siberia, a Russian geologist named Vadim Kolpakov stumbled upon a geological marvel that defied explanation. Nestled on the slopes of the Patam Highlands near Lake Baikal lay a massive, peculiar crater unlike anything seen before. This was the Pamsky Crater, a colossal mound of shattered limestone blocks, towering and enigmatic. At its base, the crater stretched over 500 feet wide, with walls rising more than 40 feet high. In the center stood a cone crowned with a ring-shaped formation nearly as tall as the crater's outer walls. Scientists estimated its volume at over 8 million cubic feet and its weight at roughly 1 million tons. Yet, despite its size and prominence, no one could explain how it formed. Kolpakov's discovery sparked a wave of scientific curiosity and speculation. Was it the impact site of a meteorite, a volcanic eruption, or perhaps the result of a deep pocket of natural gas pushing through the Earth? Theories abounded, but none fit perfectly. One popular idea linked the Pamsky crater to the infamous Tunguska event of 1908, when a massive explosion flattened forests hundreds of miles away. Some suggested the crater was a fragment from the same cosmic visitor. But scientific dating revealed the crater to be about 300 years old, far older than Tunguska's 20th century blast. Investigations revealed no traces of typical meteorite materials or volcanic activity. Radiation levels were normal, and no heat signatures indicated recent eruptions. The crater's formation remains a geological riddle. Locals whisper of strange energies and eerie lights around the crater, adding a layer of mystery to the scientific puzzle. Despite ongoing research, the Pamsky crater continues to defy explanation, a silent giant guarding its secrets beneath the Siberian sky. This massive, inexplicable formation stands as a testament to nature's mysteries, reminding us that even in an age of science, some phenomena remain beyond our understanding. What cosmic or earthly forces shaped this colossal mound? The answer remains buried in time, waiting for discovery that may never come. 7. The Disappearance of Flight 1945 lost in the Triangle. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger bombers lifted off from Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission. The weather was clear, the pilots experienced. But within hours, Flight 19 would vanish, sparking one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Radio transmissions grew frantic as Lieutenant Charles Taylor, the flight leader, reported his compasses had failed. The men were disoriented, lost over the vast Atlantic. "We can't find west. Everything is wrong." Taylor's voice crackled over the radio. The last message was desperate. "We are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are." Eyewitnesses on the ground saw nothing. The plane simply disappeared from radar. When a rescue plane was dispatched, it too vanished without a trace. 13 more men lost. The Navy launched the largest search in history, scouring thousands of square miles of ocean. No wreckage was ever found. No bodies recovered. Investigators were baffled. Some blamed equipment failure. Others suspected pilot error. But the complete lack of debris fueled wild theories. The Bermuda Triangle, alien abduction, time warps. The official report listed the cause as unknown. The families of the lost men were left with only questions. How could 5 planes disappear without a trace? Why did the rescue plane meet the same fate? The Bermuda Triangle became a legend, a place where the laws of nature seemed to break down. Decades later, the mystery of Flight 19 remains unsolved. The ocean keeps its secrets, and the skies over the triangle are still feared by pilots. What really happened that day? The answer may be lost forever, swallowed by the endless blue. 8. The Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion, a broadcast hijacked by mystery. On the night of November 22, 1987, viewers in Chicago were stunned by an unprecedented and eerie event. During the 9 p.m. newscast on WGN-TV, the screen suddenly flickered and was overtaken by a strange figure wearing a Max Headroom mask. The figure swayed erratically in front of a metallic backdrop, accompanied by a loud buzzing sound. The intrusion lasted only 17 seconds before the station regained control, but the mystery had just begun. 2 hours later, the hijackers struck again, this time targeting PBS affiliate WTW during a broadcast of the Doctor Who episode Horror of Fong Rock. With no engineers on duty, the signal takeover lasted over 90 seconds. The masked figure delivered bizarre, cryptic messages referencing New Coke, a local sportscaster, and the cartoon Clutch Cargo. At one point, a woman's hand appeared, spanking the figure's bare backside with a fly swatter as he exclaimed, "They're coming to get me." The broadcast ended abruptly, leaving viewers baffled and unsettled. Who was behind this surreal hijacking? Despite a thorough investigation by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, and local authorities, the perpetrators were never identified. Eyewitnesses described the incident as unsettling and surreal, a mix of humor and menace. The technical feat required to override broadcast signals suggested insider knowledge or sophisticated equipment. Yet, no credible suspects emerged. Scientific and technical experts examined the broadcast systems, but found no vulnerabilities exploited that could pinpoint the hijackers. The motives behind the intrusion remain speculative. Was it a prank, a political statement, or something more sinister? The Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion stands as one of the most bizarre and unexplained hacks in television history. Its eerie imagery and cryptic references continue to captivate conspiracy theorists and media historians alike. Nearly 4 decades later, the mystery endures. The identity of the masked intruders remains unknown, their motives a puzzle, and their audacity a chilling reminder of the vulnerabilities lurking beneath the surface of our everyday technology. 9. The lost colony of Greenland, vanished in the frozen north. For centuries, the Norse settlers thrived on Greenland's harsh, icy landscape. Established around the 10th century, their colony endured for nearly 500 years, surviving brutal winters and isolation. But then, in the late 15th century, the colony vanished, abandoned without warning, leaving behind supplies, homes, and a haunting silence. When later explorers arrived, they found the settlement eerily intact but utterly deserted. Personal belongings and food stores remained untouched, as if the inhabitants had simply walked away. What forced these hardy pioneers to leave their homes and disappear into the unknown? Eyewitness accounts from indigenous Inuit populations hinted at occasional conflicts, but archaeological evidence showed no signs of violent raids or destruction. Theories about starvation or disease have been debated, but the orderly abandonment suggests something else. Scientific investigations have explored climate data, revealing a period of cooling known as the Little Ice Age, which may have made farming and survival increasingly difficult. Others point to dwindling support from Europe, isolation, or economic collapse. Some speculate that the colonists attempted to sail southward, seeking refuge elsewhere, while others suggest they assimilated with local populations. A devastating plague that swept through nearby Iceland and Norway could have severed vital connections, leaving the colony stranded. Despite extensive research, no definitive answers have emerged. The fate of Greenland's Norse settlers remains one of history's most perplexing mysteries. This lost colony's disappearance leaves a lingering question. What drives a community to abandon everything and vanish without a trace? The frozen tundra holds its secrets close, and the story of Greenland's vanished Norsemen is a chilling reminder of humanity's vulnerability against nature's relentless forces. 10. The Dancing Plague of 1518, when the streets danced to death. In July 1518, the quiet city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, was shaken by an event so bizarre it defied explanation. It began with a woman named Frau Trophia, who suddenly started dancing uncontrollably in the streets. What seemed like a strange quirk soon turned into a terrifying epidemic. For days, Frau Trophia danced without rest, ignoring exhaustion, pain, or pleas to stop. Soon, dozens more joined her, their bodies racked by spasms and convulsions. The dancing plague spread like wildfire, with as many as 400 people caught in its grip. They danced for weeks, some collapsing from sheer exhaustion, and historical records suggest that dozens may have died from heart attacks, strokes, or dehydration. Eyewitness accounts from the time describe a scene of chaos and desperation. Authorities, baffled and desperate, even encouraged the dancing, believing it would cure the afflicted if they danced it out. Musicians were hired to keep the dancers moving, but the madness only worsened. Scientific investigation centuries later has proposed various theories. Some believe it was a case of mass hysteria or psychogenic movement disorder, mass psychosis triggered by the extreme stress of famine, disease, and hardship. Others suggest ergot poisoning, caused by a toxic fungus growing on rye, which can induce hallucinations and convulsions. Religious explanations also abounded at the time, with some seeing the plague as divine punishment or a curse. Yet, none fully explain why the dancing started or why it spread so rapidly. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's strangest and most unsettling mysteries. Why did so many people lose control of their bodies in such a deadly way? What unseen force compelled them to dance until collapse? Though likely a case of mass hysteria, the exact cause and nature of the plague remain elusive. The haunting image of hundreds of people dancing themselves to death in the streets lingers in history's shadows, a chilling reminder of the fragile line between mind and body and the mysteries that still elude our understanding. These mysteries share a haunting common thread. They remind us that some questions have no answers, at least not yet. Whether it's letters that terrorized a small town, vanished crews, or inexplicable phenomena, the past holds secrets that continue to captivate and confound. The allure of unsolved mysteries lies not just in their strangeness, but in their invitation to wonder, to imagine, and to debate. They challenge our understanding of reality and push the boundaries of what we think is possible. Feel free to leave your comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more mysteries like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.